Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming to the meeting tonight. My name's Nolan. I run this monthly tech meetup called SAC Interactive, where we talk about something to do with web and mobile development. It is free. It happens every month, the third Wednesday of the month at 6:30 p.m. California time here on Zoom. We used to meet physically in downtown Sacramento, but then COVID sort of put the kibosh on that, and now we're meeting here online. We are always looking for speakers, and we are always looking for topics people would like to see someone present on. So if you would like to give a presentation on something to do with web and mobile development, please reach out. We'll put you on the calendar. If you have an idea for a topic that you would like to come and watch just as an attendee, please also let me know about those. You can reach us at sacinteractive.com. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn as SAC Interactive Tech Meetup. And tonight we've got one of my longtime friends from the tech community, Luke Kilpatrick, who is going to talk to us today about a wonderful new platform called Harness that he's been working with. Luke, the floor is yours, my friend. Take it away.
Thanks, Nolan. It's good to be here. And yeah, this is, I'm just going to give the disclaimer here. I joined Harness exactly 3 days ago. Monday was my first day. So I'm drinking heavy from the fire hose, and I'm very fortunate to have some supporting coworkers here to help with any questions or something. But I've been doing DevOps and working with development pipelines and different ways of getting code from your laptop to the server and into production for a long time. And so coming and working at Harness and working on the developer relations team for this really fits in what I've done. And my main focus of my entire career has been get code into production as easily and efficiently as possible. So one of the big things about doing this is not all the times we want to go pay for the big systems, especially if you're working on a side project, especially if you and a bunch of buddies are, just getting ready for a startup or just batting ideas around. You want to get someplace to code and get those systems in place. You don't need all the heavy iron of some of the other source control systems. So we're going to talk a little bit about source control systems here today. Talk a little bit about pipelines, and I'm going to spend a lot of time trying to follow some workshops and live demos here. So we're going to send our offerings and drop our sage to the demo gods here that everything is going to work. And if it doesn't, then hopefully you'll bear with me and we'll do better next time. So without further ado, we're going to do our agenda here. Basically, who I am. Why do you need this? How it works, and then open up the floor to questions. Been fortunate enough today to be joined by Patrick, who's one of our product managers, and Hitesh, who is our engineering manager, as well as possibly a few other folks from Harness. So, I've got good support to answer questions if you guys have them. So, with that, who am I? Why should you care listening to me? My name is Luke Kilpatrick. I've been in tech since 1996. I started up a pair of the first internet cafes in Canada back when I was still in high school. And I started off as a graphic artist and digital designer, then decided that, this code thing sounded pretty good, became a web developer. That's where I got to know Nolan. I taught myself Cold Fusion and PHP and started building websites and WordPress stuff. And from that, I started up a couple of Adobe user groups. Those Adobe user groups found that I really enjoyed talking and teaching people about stuff. So I pivoted my career and started doing DevRel and Dev Relations, and worked for companies such as Atlassian, Nutanix, VMware, LinearB, Hazelcast, a bunch of those, and just joined Harness to help do DevRel for their open source products. And the main one we're talking about is Gitness, as well as some other parts of the Harness platform. So on my spare time, I scuba dive. This is actually a picture of me and my father in the Great Barrier Reef. And I have a dive boat in Monterey called Pitter Patter, and I have a lot of fun with that. So that's about me. So why do you need source control? Hopefully at this day and age, source control is fairly, we all hopefully are using Git or something like it. There's lots of different platforms out there, but having a source control management system, I think, for any project is that. Now, we do know that there is a couple of big companies that do this, that everybody knows, that one was bought by Microsoft, one's independent, the other's bought by Atlassian, and they all do great jobs, but you don't have full control of it yourself. And that's something that I really like when I'm working on a small projects, especially, I like having a source control platform that I can work on and just kind of do it all locally or do it with a cheap server or something that I can do that management. Other thing is pipelines have become more and more important, and your pipeline of how your testing gets done, automating it, where your stuff builds, how your things do, having that granular control is starting to become more and more important, especially as things start to get more fuzzy as you're using different packages, different ways. The more pieces you put in, having those pipelines and having everything tested and as automated as possible is going to be a much better way to get your software from your laptop into production, and make sure that there's everything's checked. So I can go a little bit deeper into some of this, but just a high level overview of what we're going to be talking about today. So this is, I swiped this little screenshot just to kind of give an idea of where things sort of fill. So, we've got our code bases here. These all sit in GitLab, GitHub, Harness code, all this. This is where your code lives. Then you've got your build infrastructure where things are coming together. And then you've got, what you're targeting. Are you building on Linux? You're building on Intel? There's lots of different categorizations. Having your pipeline kind of puts all these things together to make sure that the right stuff gets to the right place at the right time. And there's lots of different ways to do that and configure that. So just basically, this is our foundational idea of how code usually gets to production. We write code, we make some mistakes, we do some testing in our CI server, the continuous integration, build, test, and see what happens. Test fails, goes back to the dev, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This is what you want to be seeing. If you have good test coverage, you should be seeing this well. If your tests all work locally, then you go to a staging. And, from there you find problems and you go back and you fix it. Now, when it fails in staging, a lot of times, or a non-production deployment, things fail silently. Your logs and everything, tracking all that down can be really hard. And if you don't have full control of everything, those can be more difficult to go through. And then the last piece here, I'm just gonna try and minimize pictures here. If something goes through everything and makes mistakes, make it to production, and that's the worst thing in the world. We don't want that happening. And then of course it's an emergency fix, and we're going back through and trying to figure out the logs. And because it's a production system, we don't have full access. There's all kinds of things. So we want to be able to have a system that lets you get through these pipelines with lots of information and feedback back to the developers and through every step of the way. And this is really where the Harness value prop is that it gives you the tools to do that. But we're not going to go talk a whole lot about the bigger Harness stuff, because if you're doing enterprise development, that's where that's targeted to. You can work on the smaller stuff, which is great, but we want to be focused here today on we're going to be focused today here on our product called Gitness, because it's free and it's open source. So I'm just so the idea here is without pipelines and source control, you've got tools that are all over the place, really slow to build. And you, as a developer, if you've ever built stuff with about 6 different products all together to get your tool chain to production, it's a pain. Lots of scripts, lots of coding you have to code and all this other stuff. And it slows you down, long time to get it, lots of cycles back and forth, and lots of time doing boilerplate stuff over and over again. We all hate that. And we also hate waiting times for builds. If you get time to solve a Rubik's Cube, your build's taking too long. So, and that's just inefficient. So what do we want to do with having a good source control management system and good pipelines, having a good, proper thing set up as best you can? So everything's streamlined, in a perfect world. And this is the nice thing. If you're starting with this greenfield, you can do this right the first time rather than trying to fix stuff that's old. Easy to develop, faster build times, stuff goes faster. That's the whole idea, is you get stuff off your laptop into production, get features out, people start using them, everything's better. Less time spent redoing the same thing over and over again. So that's why you having a good source control thing and pipelines there. So now we're doing demos. Any questions from folks? Happy to pop in if anyone's got some questions to start with. Okay.
We've got a
So,
small enough group here that if people want to just unmute their microphones and ask
yeah,
them, go for it.
get chat here. Okay. Uh, okay. I don't know what to say. Okay. So we got the chat bot here. GitHub. Okay. I've used GitHub Actions for my small projects. What's the benefit of Harness? That's a great question. So, Patrick, would you mind giving me a hand on that one?
It depends on what you're looking for. So Harness is more enterprise focused. You can still do a small project on it, but it might be a little bit large for just a single person. Excuse me. Whereas Gitness is open source. It's not hosted, but if you want something free and easy to use, you can download it, run it anywhere. You can run it GCP, you can run it at Amazon. It's going to run it DigitalOcean here as a droplet. So you can pretty much run it anywhere and use whatever infrastructure you like for it. So that's the big benefit, is mostly that you own the entire tool chain without having to use someone else's tool chain or anything.
So, and that's a great segue, because we're actually going to create a Gitness instance here on a droplet. So we're going to select San Francisco, Ubuntu, and the best part is we can do regular, and we scroll over here to the absolute smallest droplet possible, and it runs on it, which is great. We're going to do, I've already got a password that I've created for this just to make it easy. And then we're going to call this, instead of this funky thing, Gitness is awesome. Okay, so we're going to create the droplet, and away it goes. Okay, so this takes a moment here. So while we're doing that, I'm just going to run you through what we're going to do from there. Is I've got a couple little script parts here. We're going to install Docker first. That's my first thing. So get my console up. Okay, we've got a question here. If you have a small team with an established mature web app, including SCM, but not automated pipeline, how do you go about building a pipeline, and where do you start? Well, this is a good thing to look at. So we've got, this is where Gitness could actually work for you to start to experiment and try the pipelines. So I'm going to get this running, and then we're going to, part of the demo is setting up pipelines, and we can start working with those right away. So
one thing, I don't know if you're planning on showing it in this, but we will have, we do have import in Gitness. You can import repositories from any other SCM if you want to bring it in and start working on that and set up a pipeline with that.
So, yeah, one of the cool things here in the Gitness docs here, we've actually got pipeline samples here. This is actually really cool. There's samples for all these different languages and everything to get you started. So if you're working with MongoDB, here it sets up the different plugins and containers. If you've ever heard of the product Drone, it's an open source thing that Gitness is the next version of Drone. So if you've heard of that, it's a CI tool, and now we've added more into it to make Gitness more powerful and give you a lot more features right out of the box that other companies, larger SCMs, charge quite a bit for. So, okay, so we've got our console. Do we have our console up? Yes, we do. Okay, so let's install Docker. While that's working, we're going to get our next piece. Now, I'm going to grab from our settings here, samples. Nice thing is this just basically install Docker and you're ready to rock and roll, which is pretty impressive for this thing. As I said, I've been here 3 days, and I'm already pretty amazed how easy this stuff is to get going and set up. So
I think Jim added a compose file as well to the source code, so you can run Docker compose and get it up and running if you want to add some other tools to it as well.
Yeah, I'm just doing basically 2 commands, and we are up and running. Hopefully, so it goes and grabs our stuff, pulls it all together. Cool. Okay. Now I should be able to go hit the web develop hit my tab here with, I need to get for my droplet. We're going to copy our droplet here. If you guys want to, I will pop this into the chat if you want to play with it yourself here while we're doing it. Here, use that. Log in if you want to make your own user. That's cool. I'm going to use the admin that I set up here already. But
Luke, your microphone just changed tone quite a bit. Did you
change tone? Okay, maybe I was cutting and pasting, so probably had my hand over my.
Oh, that might be it. It's back now. Thanks.
Yeah, mail at. Thanks. Okay, so we're going to sign in. Okay, and we are running. So hopefully with that, we're going to make a new project. Our project is called Dev Days and testing gitness. So we're going to create our project. Okay, and we're going to make a new repository. We're going to do just checking off what I have in my lab here. Also, I'm going to pop this here so that if anybody wants to follow along with the lab, it's right here. Now I'm going to go back and I'll do some of this in the locally, but gitness is awesome. And we've got a public, and we're going to add a README file. And there's our repos created. We want to make a new file here. We can call it app.py. We can commit our changes directly in main branch, and we wanted to go edit our file. Hello world. Commit changes, and there. So we've got basic, Git interface running. We've got our repositories here, and we have settings and user management. So we're going to make a new user here. So you can either make a new user this way, and we can create them in auto sets a password. The way I wanted to do it, the way that I like the things to do it, is we're going to log back out, and we're going to make a new user called developer. And we're going to choose a very secure password of devpass1. Oh, sorry, sign up. We're not going to. We're just going to go, sorry, dev. Oh, sorry. That maybe it's my watch hitting it. Let's try to take that. Is that better?
Yeah. I tried signing up, Luke, and it told me signups are disabled.
Oh, okay. Well then, let me. I will make. I'll log in here and try and get this working anyway. I'll make. Looks like out of the box. Then we need to. You need to make the administrator needs to make a new one. Okay. So we're going to make user management. We're going to make a new user developer. Sample.com. Okay, create a user. And there's our password. We're just going to cut and paste our password here over to my little text message box there so that we can use it. And then we're going to go over into our project and our repo, and we're going to go to members. And we're going to add our member as our developer, and we're going to set him to a contributor. So now we have both an administrator and a developer ready to go in our repositories. So now to do a new repository, I want to bring in I want to import a project, right? And so that we're going to go to GitHub, and we're just going to go and import this one, and it's going to be called pod info. So do we need a token here for GitHub?
Oh, you have to do import repository.
Import a repository. Sorry. Import repository. There we go. Okay, GitHub organization is Harness Community. Right. Just double checking my, and pod info. I've been using this pod info repo for a lot of stuff, and it's pretty good. Okay, and anything else that we need to set here? No. Okay, so we're gonna import our repository. Okay, and we got it here. Now what's cool here is we can now generate a closed credential. Actually, we actually don't want to be using the admin for that. We do want the URL, but I actually want to go log out. I want to be working as a developer on this, not the admin. Password in. I'm going to do best practices for this. Save. Okay, so now let's go to our project, our repo. Okay, we're going to clone our repo. That's giving us a developer token. So we're going to do that. We're going to pop over to our repository. So that's probably not going to work because it'll close, but we could probably change this. I don't know if that's a interesting thing in, let's see here. I don't know if I've tried to clone off of the server or not yet, but or running off of, but this should work, right? Or 7.16. Clone from Mural. Now we're going to go to developer, select as repo destination, and we're going to open. Okay, we got our repo. Cool. So we are now working with it. So let's go and change something. So leave a package version and period defined. Okay, I don't think I have Go installed properly on this, but that's fine. So we're going to go make a change here, and we're going to save it. I'm going to hit source control, and it's going to go and say, look, you've got this. Okay. And then I believe we can hit commit. No stages there. I'm probably going to want to have a commit message, empty commit message. Okay, so we're going to say committing this commit. Okay, so we've now changed that commit. And if we go look into our commits, sorry, is this it's the commits here. Okay, I wanted to actually make a new branch. That's all right. Not following my guide as well as I should be here. So we've cloned our repository. We've got it over into there. Oh, we need to get a webhook. That was my, open a new tab here. We got a webhook. Okay. And I think I need to set this up here. So we got our this might be my old one here, or will this one work? Yeah, that's what I want. Copy clipboard. So we can set up a webhook, which is pretty cool here. So we're going to set up our webhook on gitness. Got a new webhook. We got payload URL. We're going to call it trigger on branch created. This is a neat little feature here. Okay, and that looks good. Do I need anything else from that? Payload URL, leave out the secret, create the webhook. And we need to select an individual event, and we want to do this on branch created. Okay, so that fires that webhook. Folks, everybody familiar with let's see what's going on here?
Oh, this user does not have permission to create a webhook.
Oh, right. I need to go back and log in as an admin. Thank you for catching me there. Let's go back in as our admin and make our webhook. Sorry about that, folks. This is why I've got my teammates here to help me out when I make mistakes, because I am going to make lots of them today, because As I said, day 3, but we're all here in this together. Let's go back to our permalink, copy to clipboard, and back to webhook. And okay, we've got a webhook created successfully. Let me just double check. Let me just change this to be the branch created webhook. Okay, so now we've got a webhook. Let's pop back into our here. So on this, we need to go back to being a developer. So you notice we'll be popping back and forth. Normally, once you're set up, you're not going to be popping back and forth between users very quickly here, but we're going to be doing that here. So we got pod info and back to our here. And we've added our member developer users. It's contributor role. We're back into VS there. We've got here. Okay. Permission, enter username, password, confidential. Okay, so that's there. Sync changes. Okay. Enter confirm. Oh, there it is asking for the username. So you can see that. Can you everybody see this here in the Visual Studio Code? This is where you need your username. We can go back to our repository here, generate clone credential, and this gets you the token that you're going to need to actually make this work. And username is developer, and password is this. And sure. Okay, I think that should have worked. Okay, let's go back to our code. See our version go. Looks like we're there. And if this did work right, we should be able to go to package, version go. And hey, look at that. My change is in the source control. So we have got a working back and forth Git. Now we want to go make some cooler stuff here. We've got our webhook set up for, let's have the webhook fire when we create a branch. So we've got our stuff here. We're going to clone the URL, generate credentials, push complete. We should see something on the webhook here. Okay, so we've got that. No, so the webhook's not fired yet because we haven't created a branch yet. So we need to do that. So let's see. Is that a little lost here? Okay. So triggered by a PR. Okay, so we want to create, we want to go create a new branch. So I'm going to go make a new branch.
We're still doing it, so it must not be the watch.
Yeah. Something's brushing your mic, Luke.
Okay, sorry about that. Is that better now?
Yep.
Should have grabbed a. Usually I run with a different keyboard, but I'm working on a laptop here, so hopefully is that too bad? As long as I'm not touching anything, right? So I don't know where the microphone is on the newer Macs. Okay, so we just made the branch. And we're going to go, we'll make another change here to version 3. Okay. And we're going to commit. And I'm going to commit directly to the branch. No, actually, I want changed. And change. Save changes. Okay, so we are now working on the branch. We now can go here and we have our branch version that has that. And we should be able to check on our webhook site and look at that. There we go, 7:05. There's our post and it fired, and we've got it working. So we've got our webhook going. So now that's basically our source control back and forth. We've made branches. We've made changes to the files. They've gone up and back. So now there is some cool stuff that Gitness has. One, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but they have a thing called secret scanning. This is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool security feature. And you have to go into settings as an admin. So we're going to pop back out. Don't go too far into this. Away we go. And what you can do is go here into the pod and settings, and you have security, and you can turn on secret scanning. Now, what's neat about this is if you have anything that gets stored like a password, API keys, tokens, and gets checked into your repo, this will flag it and not let you do it. It's just a pretty nice feature. Is that pretty accurate there? What the secret scanning is doing?
So the secret scanning is running Git leaks on commit, or on push, I should say. So any commits that come in with secrets will be blocked from making it into the origin repo or the remote repo. They'll still be on your laptop in that commit, but they won't make it into this version of the source code. So it does it a pre-receive hook. And the only way to get past that is to remove that secret from your commit history. So you want to do the history revision on your laptop before it ever makes it into the source code that's shared. That way you're not rewriting history to get rid of that secret somehow.
So yeah, cool feature, and something that's kind of nice. So we're going to do some pipeline stuff here. I don't know if there's any questions. I'm not seeing the chat here. Looks like we're pretty good.
I think you're good right now.
Okay, so pipelines. This is the stuff that's a little newer to me. I've been using Git and source control for a while. It makes sense, but we're going to start to build some pipelines. So we're going to go into our repo, and I'm just going to say I have not tested running the pipelines on the droplets. So if it works, great. If it doesn't, then I'm going to I might have a few moments to go fire up my local to make sure that it works. But we're going to start this. So we're going to build a pipeline. So we got a new pipeline. This is called build info pipeline, and it's going to build off the master. I'm just double checking my here, and we're going to hit name is there, and we're going to create, and we've got some pipelines are in the repository. We're going to see this here. So it's already picking that up. Great. Now I'm missing my run here. Okay. So I'm actually going to minimize this a little bit more. Let's do this. Okay. So that I can see a little bit more and we get better visibility. Okay. And we're going to save this and run. Let's run the pipeline. So I'll hit run the pipeline. So this takes a few moments. It's going to clone, and then it's going to do it. Now, these usually on my laptop, they were taking about a minute to 2 minutes to run these things through. I don't know if that's the similar experience for most folks, but they can be sped up or slowed down depending on your performance. Okay, already on master. Okay, our clone has worked. It's pulling our stuff, downloading the newest image. So while that's working here, so yeah, we should see a lot, and that's going to make a build number. That works. Okay, good. So the pipeline ran, and it marked it as our first build number. Great. So that's just a very simple pipeline to start up with this. And I just got this out of my hair here. Okay, so we're going to go back here. So now we're going to do a bit more of a pipeline that's going to do some more things. So let's trigger the pipeline pull request. So we're going to pop out of the admin account. Yeah, like I'm constantly moving our viewers here. We'll log in with our developer account. And we're going to go create our pull request. So to do that, we're going to go create a pull request. So pull request, new pull request. And we're going to select our branch here. So we're going to want to take our app version branch up to there. And it's got one commit, change versions. We can take a look through it. Okay. And from here, we will create a pull request. So create a pull request, And then this gives us our checks page. So this tells us when it's running the pipeline. And we're going to add a reviewer as the administrator. Okay, and now since the reviewer hasn't done it, it's not going to be doing a whole lot with it. From there, we're not going to merge this because we're going to do it through the cicd. Okay, and we're going to need to go delete a pipeline. So it's got to go back out of the developer. We're going to come back into the admin. And let's go to our repositories and our pipelines because we're going to delete this pipeline. And that's going to go away. Okay. And then we're going to go to delete our build info pipeline. And so we're going to set up to do our secrets. We're going to store our cube token, our webhook URL. I actually don't think I'm using those for this. So we can actually, I think we can fire the webhook. So let's store because we're not running, I don't think I'm running Kubernetes on the droplet, but we'll see what we get. So we can store this as a secret. So let's go back into pipelines. New secret, we're going to call this our webhook URL. We're going to grab our webhook, our webhook copy to clipboard. We pop in our value, show value, just make sure, and create a secret. Okay. And then I think we have here, yeah, I didn't set up the cube value, I don't think, because I didn't go and set up Kubernetes on this server, so I don't think we have that there. Now you can run it locally. This lab walks you through the whole thing, but we can go with this. So we're going to go make a new pipeline. Pipeline secrets, pod info, pipelines, new pipeline. And we're going to go to webhook pipeline. And it's going to be supposed to be in the master branch. Yeah, looks like it. Okay. And I'm going to create. Okay, and we're going to pop in our. It doesn't look like this is using our webhook. It doesn't look like it's using the Kubernetes one, so it looks like we're going to be pretty good here. Is that right? Okay. Okay, so save and run. And this says it is going to fail because Docker image. We know it's not. This pipeline is executing. It's cloning. Yeah, the build process is always takes a little bit, but I do know that we've measured some of the harness building tools against others, and the harness tools have some pretty impressive performance, if I'm not mistaken. Patrick, do you remember what some of that testing has been?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to defer to Nofar or Pranav to answer. I don't know if you guys know Abhinav or Hitesh. Any of the data on that?
Okay, so Go was not found. So this test failed. That was the right action here. And there's our stuff here, build status failure, which is what we wanted to see. Okay, so we should go install Go. Okay, so let's replace the Golang image. So we're going to go edit our pipeline. And with that, we're going to go to pipelines, edit pipelines, edit pipeline. And we're going to paste this here. This looks like it should still work. Save. And let's run this. So I just remember that there was some advertising that our build processes are some of the faster ones out there. So, and of course, your mileage is going to vary depending on the complexity of your app and, performance and different things. But, faster builds is always a good thing.
Yeah, a lot of our marketing is based on faster builds. I just don't want to quote numbers without having anything to back me up for that. So,
not a problem. You can find those informations on the Harness website, I'm sure, in great detail.
Yeah, definitely.
I have shared a link where we have some case studies of build times.
Okay, so we got our new Golang pulled in. It's put in. Cool. Now, I believe gitness is built on Go, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drone is as well. So it was originally built on Drone or Go.
And then we've been putting as much drone DNA up and down our stack because drones are a good product that lots of people contributed to, and we can now take advantage into the Harness stack, the Harness platform. So that's getting in. While this build's going, we're about 1.5 minutes into this build. And this build's running a little longer because it's going and it's literally installing Go on our little droplet here, and this poor little droplet's not exactly a speed demon of a server, since we're, I've run about 4 of them today in testing this to make sure that this is all going to work, and I haven't been charged a dime for them yet because I haven't kept them alive that long. I think this, nice thing is $4 a month to have a server is pretty cool stuff. So,
how many cores do you get for $4?
Let's find out.
Wow, 512 memory. That's pretty small.
Yeah. Settings here, resources. 1 CPU, 1 virtual CPU, 0.5 gig of disk. 10 gig
usage. 10 gigs, and
yeah. So this is tiny. This is not a big. But you know what? 10 gigs for most source control things for just source code is, if you're not storing images or media files, that's probably plenty.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be storing images or media
somewhere.
files.
Sorry?
And you shouldn't be storing images or media files in there.
Right. So. Yeah. So your core stuff here. So that, for running this type of stuff, this can be, I don't know, GitHub, even on the lowest settings, I think is the cheapest it gets is a few bucks a month. But as I said, you have full control over this, which is nice. And it's got a lot of power. You can do a lot of stuff here. So I think our build hopefully is working away here.
Yeah, the source code for GitHub is going to be free, but you'll end up, if you go over your minutes and actions, then you'll end up being charged for all that.
Yeah. Okay. This is running pretty good. I think it's because it's downloading and installing Go into our server here. It's taken a little bit. So I don't know if this is fired or not. I'll check the webhook here. So, but while we're doing that, okay, so the idea for this is the webhook, once this does go all the way through, it would fire the webhook and then use the secrets here from the webhook. So instead of storing the secrets in your code, you just store the secrets in your repo, and that way your stuff doesn't get doesn't muck up. So we want to be pushing and deploying to the Kubernetes cluster. Will this work? This will not work on this build, but this is one of the. So I'm just going to kind of walk through a little bit with this because I don't have the Kubernetes token to set this up to build. But this lets you build it locally. Highly recommend you go through and play with this yourself. I just haven't gone to the effort of rebuilding this to work off of the DigitalOcean. Works great locally. I guess I could probably catch up with it, but I don't. We're starting to run into time, so I don't really want to spend a whole lot of time. But basically, what happens is it starts running a little local web server with the pod info project, and you get this nice little graphic with the cuttlefish, and your build works up there. You can then set up triggers, and those triggers will start to let you know when you deploy new versions. So what we'd be doing is we'd be going through our PR. Did this actually go? I'm thinking that this is probably not going to work, at least for what I'm doing with this, probably because I don't have the Kubernetes stuff set up. So we're going to try and cancel that out. See how that does. Hopefully this doesn't hang my whole instance. But this lets you build and push to deploy to a Kubernetes cluster. I'm going to pop open my terminal and see how fast I can actually just build the local version quickly here. Because this is actually, it's a pretty quick setup. So we're going to create our Docker network. It's good. We're going to do our local Docker registry. That's done. That's there. So I do want to show this because it does show when you make the pull request, it goes and does the build and deploys and everything once that pull request is approved. So we go pull the gitness image. That's there. Pull it from harness gitness. And you guys can see my little terminal here. It's probably tiny, small, but we're getting the details here. I'm just cutting and pasting off of that. Nice small. I'm gonna run this local. Okay, and we should be able to pop this up. And lo and behold, we have gitness. Okay, so we're gonna log in again as the administrator. We're gonna do a new project, dev days, and we're gonna just import our repository again from harness community info. Repository. Oops. Okay, double click that too quick. Okay, so now we got our repo back here. I'm gonna go make...
So there's a question in here from Jim. So we've been showing how to code deploy test server. How do we modify the environment, then deploy to production? I am assuming you're talking about something like GitOps, where you can have your configuration as declarative syntax within a repo, and then modify that and then push that out with changes when things get merged. Is that what you're looking for, Jim? That would be another repository we could probably do that with configuration files in there. It would do the same thing. There would be a pipeline to trigger as soon as the configuration is updated to go modify the environment for that.
I think that's what I'm asking. I mean, I don't use this in my development environment, but it looks interesting. So I was just curious how you take it to the next level.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend that there would be a second repository with all of your environment settings in it, your configuration files for that setting, and something like either Ansible or Terraform or anything like that that can be stored in the repo. Then once that's modified, there would be a webhook that would trigger, that would then go out and update that environment based on those new settings.
I see. So it would be a trigger specifically looking for a change to that one file.
It could be the one file, or it could be any pull request that gets merged into main. That's what a lot of people do with GitOps, is anything that gets put into main or master, as soon as that changes and gets updated, then the environment updates. Because what they want to do is make sure that whatever is in that repository as a declarative state matches what is in the environment itself. So that's the reason for the declarative syntax for that is you're declaring that this is what the environment should look like, and then all the tooling needs to make sure that the environment matches what you've got in your repo.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
This tutorial covers that deployment part. If we go a little bit down, then yeah, it has the like.
Yeah, I'm just working to get my local thing running Kubernetes here, and I think that I'm just gonna pop back up here to do that. And oops, and this generates my secret token. So this is what I'm missing in the other part here. So we're gonna go back to our webhook here, permalink, copy, and we've got, this is my local host here, and we're gonna go to secrets because we're admin. This is our webhook. Let me just make sure that that's the right syntax I want to be using. This pipeline. Secrets. Okay, yeah. URL. URL, right? Yeah. Create secret and new secret. Got this big secret here.
Getting a lot of static off your mic now.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It's my hand whenever I'm cutting and pasting. Is that better there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I gotta use a claw rather than resting my palm, as it looks like the microphone is right there, which
so
is
it's literally a problem exists between keyboard and mouse.
It's exactly
Or keyboard and chair.
Keyboard and chair, right? It's a problem on my ID10T port. It happens to the best of us here when we're demoing. Okay, so I think we've got our secrets here. What I need to do now is I need to go over here, and I need to go and change my, I'm going to go back to GitHub. I need to go back to my information here. I need to change my repo. It's been a while since I've been using Visual Studio Code too much, but let's just see. Font code. I want to close folder. Okay, we're going to clone a Git repo. I clone from here. Okay, and I want to do developer. I'm going to put a new folder here, sub, because pod info is already being used. We're going to clone there. Okay, so now we have that. And then we're going to want to do a branch, create branch, and harness, we're going to go. I want to be just trying to catch my demo back up from the DigitalOcean version to my local. We're pretty close here. Repo, trigger and branch created. Update app version. Version. Okay, publish branch. Open. Okay. So it's complaining here. Don't hang up, ignore case, git status. Okay, probably because I didn't make any changes here to justify that. So we're going to go back to our package, our version, go. I don't have go locally installed, that's fine. And we're going to change this to B2. Save. And we're going to here change. Yes. Now it should complain here because it's giving me the same thing. Okay, we already saw this working on the other side, so I'm going to go just do it manually on the repo here that we're working on because we had it hooked and committed there. Okay, so we've got branches. We're going to do a new branch. Version create branch. Okay, and then in the branch, we're going to go package, version go. I'm going to edit. And we're going to commit. Okay, so now we have our there. We can now catch us back up to a new pull request, set our branch, create our pull request. We do checks. Sorry, we're going to add a administrator. Oops. Oh, shoot. I didn't make my new user. Sorry about that, folks. We will get that. Folder. I believe my local host here, my local one, does let me sign up. So I will use my already created developer. Example. Confirm password. User is created. Okay, and that's fine. Okay, project here. Now I need to go back to my administrator and add my developer. Sorry for the back and forth, folks. We got members. We're going to add a member, our developer, user contributor, and member to this project. And log out as administrator. We're going to do administrator first, but we're going to go wipe out that other pull request because of this one here should be close pull request. Okay, so that should be there. No, I did not go.
Yeah, could you click on close pull request? Then it closes.
No, well, I think, okay, I'm the administrator.
No, like you can just you have to double click as in like after selecting that option. Yeah. Now click on yes. Oh, you opened. Okay. Okay.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
Yeah. By the way, that experience is changing literally this week. So
good. Good. Okay, so now we need a new pull request. We're going to select a pull request. We're still an administrator. We need to go be a developer to do this right because we need the administrator to be able to review us. Okay. Project dev days, hot info, pull request, create new pull request, pop that, create pull request. Okay, so now we have checks. We don't have any pipelines yet, so we need to go make a pipeline. We have a new pipeline. Actually, the developer doesn't make the pipeline. The admin needs to make the pipeline. And pipelines. Actually, we need a webhook. We need the webhook first, right? Although that webhook's just doing the branch created, we probably don't need it right now. Okay, so new pipeline. Okay, back to our deployment stuff here. This is what we want. So we're gonna make a new pipeline. This is the build deploy pipeline. I think this goes back to that answering that question of, okay, great, we've done all this other stuff. Now we need to actually deploy this thing. So we're going to use a build deploy pipeline. And it's master. We're going to hit create. And in the build deploy pipeline, we've got this nice big long pipeline here. This is using our Kubernetes token. We're going to pop. Okay, so this is going and taking our pipeline. It's doing our CI. It's running our tests, making sure that Golang is in place. It's then going to build it into our Docker, and then it's going to go set it up in our Kubernetes clusters instance here, and it's going to say that it's ready to go. So we're going to save and run. We're going to run the pipeline. And this, hopefully, because this is on a brand new I don't know if it's the M3 or the M2 that's in the one I got here. I think it's the M3. Yeah, it's the M4 that they just put in the MacBook Air, right? So this is running here and running locally. And so this is going to run through in the Helm. And we can actually, when this is done, we can check our Docker and make sure everything's running. Let's see how this is going. Okay, the clone is done. Good. Now we're running our tests.
Luke, while that's running, what's a use case why people would run this on localhost? Is it just to try out the process before they do it for realsies up in DigitalOcean or something like that? Or is there an actual dev workflow where you would benefit from running this on your laptop?
I think mostly for testing and learning. I don't think there would be a good benefit for running this on the laptop.
Okay.
Patrick, you might have a better.
Well, we had the question earlier today in that webinar for this that somebody was asking if they could run a test for CI pipelines locally. So you can set up your pipelines, test them locally, make sure it does everything you want to do without having to invest anything on a system, and then move your pipelines to your production system when you're ready. So it's a really good way to test out your pipelines, because the engine underneath for CI and everything is the same regardless of where it is.
Right, that makes sense. Is there a way to, let's say I set up my pipelines and all my configuration stuff locally, and I go, okay, it's all working end to end the way I want it to here. I want to now duplicate that in, let's say, DigitalOcean. Is there a way to export out all of the stuff I did and then import like a set of config files, or do I have to go in and sort of redo the steps in DigitalOcean?
So the pipelines are all in code, so they're in the repo. So you can actually have a pipeline do the automation for you to move those things once you've done that. So you could have an automation sequence that once you approve the pipeline and it's good to go and you like it, it runs another pipeline that takes your configuration and just uploads that to wherever it is, as long as it has a service account or whatever that has permission to do that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So you can just have like layers and layers of pipeline on top of each other.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no, the pipeline stuff is really where this starts to get really powerful. And if you're looking at the scripting, it's not they're not very complex here. Like it's fairly plain English, which I'm kind of liking. And as I'm learning more about this, this stuff is pretty good. And they're stored, I believe, just in YAML files, are they not? In the repo?
Yeah, should be. Right, Hitesh, I won't speak out of turn. I haven't.
Like, let's say I have kind of I don't know, several apps I'm dealing with that all connect together in some way. So I have, let's say, 10 pipelines for different workflows. Would I then just manually take the 10 YAML files out of my localhost version and just throw those same 10 YAML files up on DigitalOcean?
No, this pipeline is saved in repository. So if you look, if you go to
right.
the files page, then you could we can see. If you go to files page in repository, like where you were page in like gitness localhost where you were running.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so we've got a port forwarding here. Okay, and now if I hit this, hey, look at this. And I can hit a ping and look, I've got my build. Now this is the default build, the 6.1 with that. But now what I should be able to do over here is trigger this to actually open the to do the pull request. So just see, we've got a default trigger, customize trigger. Okay, so we are going to go merge our pull requests. So let's go into our pull request. And we pick this. Oh, I was not, we did not go and change out our, we didn't go and add the, oops. Touch. The Touch ID does make it nice for doing demos, because you don't have to spend all your time typing passwords into using. Okay, so we go into our repo, pull request. Okay, we're going to add our administrator. Okay, so administrator's in, and we should have that. I'll log back out, go in as our admin. Project, dev days, repo, pull requests. Okay, pull request looks good. Jar checks. Why is there no pipelines? What did I miss here? Okay. Select pipelines in the left nav menu. Do we not have pipelines in here? Okay, we've got a pipeline there.
This is not showing checks because we have created this pipeline after raising a pull request.
Okay. So let's go kill our close the pull request. And let's go make a new one. New pull request. Actually, we need to swap our users again. Sorry about this, folks. That's why demos don't work all the time perfect. As I said, this is day 3 with me on the team, and I really appreciate the team here helping me out, answering the deeper questions that I don't know yet. But I've been having a lot of fun learning everything. Okay, so we've got our this. Okay. Right, pull request, and we're going to add our admin. Okay, checks. It's still not pulling it up. Huh.
If you go to pipeline step, we can see it started running. Or
is it because I didn't make the webhook?
yeah, that is also true. But yeah, if you for now, if you just merge this pull request and rerun this pipeline, it should deploy the new version.
Okay, so we're gonna squash and merge.
And if we rerun that pipeline manually, it should deploy the new.
Okay. And we're gonna. Oops. I'm the developer. I need to change back and forth here. It's mostly just for folks to get an idea of how this can work. Once you've got this all set up, this will run smoothly, making your life a lot better, because once you're configured, it's set to go. So we're going to run, and what we should be getting is something with a different version. So and then so they also do have we can also go through and look, and you can set up in your failures notifications and different things to fire off. This one here is this last project here, which I'm not going to go into, is on the build or deployment failure. You can set it to fire off webhooks or fire off other things to let people know. And then the end of it, we just clean ourselves up here to make it so that we can run the demo again. But let's see if this is working. Okay, we're building right now. And it's pulling all the pieces together. And once that's done, I think this will be our last thing. If we've got this working, then we'll pop back and take some questions and see what folks think. So we've got our build running here. This took about 3 minutes last time. But yeah, so I'm just going to go while we're here. I'm just going to go clean up my DigitalOcean stuff here, because this would have worked. We're just going to destroy my DigitalOcean here.
Yeah.
No point in. Sorry.
The most expensive server is the one you forget to turn off.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to destroy this droplet, because there we go. Okay, so our droplet is gone, and my estimated cost, I don't think I've cost myself anything yet. And I literally just made this account today. Yeah, joined about 6 hours ago, and I've had activity, but that's there. So cool. Back to control panel. So yeah, $4 a month to run a server that can do this is actually pretty cool. Okay, let's see. Executions. Are we done? Build, deploy. Okay, we hit refresh. Oh, is that not working now? Okay, let's try that. There we go. Build 2. We hit ping, and look, we now have our new version number. So there we go. We've got a working build. We've done that. Let's pop back to I have successfully live demoed, at least for the most part. And we're going to do it. So how do you get this stuff? Go to gitness.com. Pretty straightforward. And thank you, everybody, for paying attention. Appreciate the great questions. Any other questions here before we stop the recording and say thank you to everybody?
Just unmute your mic and ask away. You don't need to post in the chat.
Any other things? We got details. As I said, we've got the team that makes this product on the line here. So if anything's curious or interest or feature that you think you might need, now's your chance.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for the opportunity to share. Hopefully, with day 3, me here at Harness, walked you through. We walked through how to set up Gitness, how to deploy it, both on DigitalOcean and on a local host, setting up with Kubernetes and without. We deployed the Pod Info project, which is our demo app that you're welcome to go take and play with, running in Go. And we set up a few different pipelines that would do that building and deploying. We also put on our secret scanner to prevent people from checking in passwords and other sensitive information. And we showed you how to use the secrets within the source control manager so that you can populate your pipelines with them dynamically. I think that wraps up everything that we showed today. Did I miss anything? Okay. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate this be my first talk with Harness, and thanks again for having us, Nolan.
Thanks very much, Luke. Always a pleasure to see you present on something. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. We'll get this on YouTube as soon as possible.